So Ilhan Omar and her husband are finally being investigated by the DOJ. Governor Abigail Spanberger, a self-proclaimed moderate Democrat, has signed some ridiculous executive orders. And Michelle Obama tells black people not to buy clothes from white designers. That and a lot more. So grab your coffee and let's lock in. All right, first up is Ilhan Omar and her husband, the investigation into their wealth. Why are they being investigated exactly? Well, simply put, her and her husband were dead broke before she became a congresswoman. And then within 2 years, they went from being dead broke to being multimillionaires. Now, she says it's because her husband and his businesses have been very successful. But is that the truth? I don't know. Let's see what they have to say here.
Good to see you, my friend. What's the old saying? Follow the money? Well, that's precisely what the House Oversight Committee is doing. They are probing squad member Ilhan Omar's skyrocketing family wealth, Jesse, especially in the wake of that $9 billion, some would argue $19 billion, Somali social services fraud scandal that exploded in her district in Minnesota.
I want to point that out. Keep in mind that all that fraud is in her district. And it's all from the Somali community in her district. So again, it just seems highly suspicious that she became so rich in such a short amount of time and all this fraud is being committed in her district. Let's continue.
The oversight chair, James Comer, says his team's lawyers are exploring the extraordinary step of subpoenaing Omar's spouse over his curious business practices. Republicans want to know how the Somali-born Omar and her politically connected husband, Tim Minette, went from being nearly broke to being worth around $30 million in just a year, according to her 2024 disclosure forms. Quoting Comer now, there are a lot of questions as to how her husband accumulated so much wealth over the past 2 years. It's not possible. It's not. And he's a money guy. Minette and his partner, Will Haler, back in 2022, formed an investment firm, Jesse, named Rose Lake Capital. They had $42 in their bank account at the time, but in a year, up to $25 million, according to Omar's filing. By the way, he also has a wine business that went from next to nothing to millions on its books. Not surprisingly, associates were so perplexed about the irregularities, they brought information and attention to the feds to, look into it. Now, for her part, the Congresswoman has repeatedly, and I say defiantly, denied any wrongdoing while being also careful to criticize the ongoing probe. But, sometimes they say, Jesse, the ones who yell the loudest have the most to hide.
Well, innocent until proven guilty. I'm sure everything was perfectly legal.
Absolutely. I'm sure everything was perfectly legal. I'm sure they weren't laundering fraud money at all, in the slightest. See, my real concern with people like Ilhan Omar is if justice will really be served. Because I'm telling you right now, things like this will not change unless these people who are in power, these Congress people, these politicians, these governors, these mayors, are charged and do some time, serious time, to where every other politician who even thought about committing fraud and defrauding the American people, think twice, think 3 times, and then say, you know what, not worth the risk. But as long as they don't go to jail, as people like Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz and the mayor of Minneapolis, as long as they don't face justice, nothing's going to change. The question is Pam Bondi actually going to do her job and start charging these people? I don't know. Now in this next story, we got a glimpse of the agenda of Governor Spanberger in Virginia. I want you guys to really pay attention to this for one simple reason. This is the agenda of a so-called moderate Democrat. And as you're about to see, there's no such thing as a moderate Democrat anymore, because if these are moderate executive orders, I would hate to see a radical one. But this gives us a scary glimpse into the future of the United States if we were to have a Democrat take power again anytime soon. So let's watch.
That's the new governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, Abigail Spanberger, ran for that office as a moderate. But the executive order that she talked about is state and local police not cooperating with ICE to get criminal illegal immigrants. There's also a list of, now the Democrats control the legislature, that a number of bills that have been put forward. You can't read it here, but let me just go through it. Sales tax on Uber Eats, Amazon. Sales tax on admissions to a variety of businesses. Create 2 new higher tax brackets. 10% tax bracket for anyone making over $1 million. 3.8 investment tax. Raise the hotel tax. New personal property tax on landscaping equipment. Ban gas-powered leaf blowers. Guarantee illegal aliens free education. Make it illegal to approach somebody at an abortion clinic. Extend the time absentee ballots can be received after Election Day. Allow people to cast their votes electronically through the internet. Expand ranked choice voting. Extend the deadline for ballot curing. Redact the addresses of political candidates from FOIAs. Add Virginia to the National Popular Vote Compact. Make it illegal to hand count ballots. $500 sales tax on firearm suppressors. Assault weapons and large capacity magazine ban. 11% sales tax on all firearms and ammunition. Prohibit outdoor shooting of a firearm less than 5 acres. Lower the criminal penalties for robbery. Ban the arrest of illegal aliens in courthouses. Remove mandatory minimum sentences. Allow localities to install speed cameras. And replace Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day.
I'm going to touch on a few of these here. First of all, I don't know if you noticed, there's a ton of new taxes being implemented here. I guess the people in Virginia love to be taxed because this governor is bringing the new taxes. Bans on gas-powered leaf blowers. Why? Free education for illegal immigrants. Wow. Lower the criminal penalties for robbery. Again, more suicidal empathy for criminals. No empathy for the victims. Ban the arrest of illegal aliens in courthouses. Remove mandatory minimum sentences. And then the last one, replace Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day. Those are just a few on this list that I just named. But this is the future of the USA if another Democrat was ever to win the presidency. This might be the future of the USA if we don't win the midterms. But let's continue.
Wow. So elections have consequences, Josh.
What a spectacular reminder that we no longer live in an era where there's an existence of a moderate Democrat. I think for the last 6 months, for those of us who pointed out that the Mamdanis of the world had taken over the Democratic Party, we were assured, no, that's not the new face of the Democratic Party. It's people like moderates, Abigail Spanberger. I mean, she's there for a cup of coffee, and all of a sudden we have a communist manifesto out in front of us. This is going fast and furious, but it is how Democrats govern. Regardless of what they say, even in a state, a purple state like Virginia, Youngkin didn't govern as a right-wing lunatic. She's trying to take it so far left, it's almost unrecognizable.
He is correct. She's trying to take it so far left, it's unrecognizable. The Democrat Party today is not the Democrat Party of 20 years ago. It just isn't. A lot of the things that they advocated for 20 years ago are the same things that the Republican Party today advocate for, like secure borders. But for the most part, there was a lot more bipartisan work and compromise between the two parties. Now they're just so far left that they're not even the Democrat Party anymore. There's something different. We need a new name for them. And here's the next clip. This one in particular is about Michelle Obama. And she urges black people to not buy from white designers. Interesting. This lady here, I believe her name is Avery Day, makes a good point in her video. I'm going to let you watch it.
I think we should all be mindful and make sure that we're not purchasing clothes made by black designers. We need to pay attention to who's in our closets. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that racist?
If I hear of someone whose fashion that I like and I know that they're a person of color, I try to make it a point. But the clothes have to be available. You know, I think we can all do some work to think about that balance in our wardrobes. You know, what does our closet look like and who's in it? Mm-hmm. Who are we supporting in it? Right. You know, and I think if you have the money to buy Chanel, mm-hmm. then you have the money to buy everybody. Right. And so let us be mindful, I think would be my advice. Yeah.
Why do they hate white people so much? What a disgusting thing to say. What a racist thing to say. And Michelle Obama, since you're going to preach at us not to wear clothes from white designers, you better not be wearing clothes from white designers, right? Oh wait, this skirt she's wearing is made by Amelia Wickstead. That costs over $1,000 and is a white designer.
Michelle Obama's become the next Hillary Clinton. You know, a lot of the stuff she's been spewing recently in interviews is anti-white, right? The anti-white rhetoric. And, you know, when it comes to hair or makeup, and I mean, she's just going around, I mean, just go find all the interviews yourself, but they're out there. And this is just another example of her racism. The fact is, at the beginning of this clip, this lady here gives you an example of how absurd it sounds, right? Oh, don't buy black designers' clothing. You see how absurd that sounds? Well, Michelle Obama said the other thing, but nobody's making a big deal about it, right? When the shoe's on the other foot, white people are the target. You're just supposed to accept it. Like, oh, okay. But there'd be riots in the streets if a white designer said the same thing about black people. Like, hey, you should be buying white clothes, not black clothes. It's absurd, right? And this is Michelle Obama, the former first lady of the United States. Has me wondering, you know, what happened to this, you know, unite everybody message that they once ran on, her and her husband. I don't know. I guess that was just all fluff. And the thing is, it's not just her. It's a lot of the Democrat Party. It's most of them, to be honest. I mean, from the AOCs to the Jasmine Crockett's to the Ilhan Omars to the Schumers. I mean, they're all hypocrites. And they claim that Republicans are racist or that we're Nazis or that we're fascists. But actions speak louder than words. Jesus said a good tree will bear good fruit, a bad tree will bear bad fruit or no fruit. Well, let's just look at the fruit of both parties right now. What is the fruit that the Democrat Party is bearing? It's a fruit of division. It's a fruit of hate, violence, lies. Now, I'm not going to pretend that my party, the Republican Party, is perfect. But if we had to compare fruit, there's one that's trying to stick to the truth and the facts of things, and there's one that's completely deviating from all fact and all truth entirely. And in fact, sowing division, and they're far more racist than they accuse us of being, by far. Now, I got two more clips for you. This one in particular is an ICE agent calmly de-escalating a situation with a crazed leftist who is just whistling and screaming and being belligerent. But I want to point something out here, okay? Because they're accusing these people, these ICE agents, of being Gestapo, of being Nazis. Now, when you watch this, does this look like how a Nazi or a Gestapo officer would act? Watch.
Hi, you have any questions?
I asked if y'all got a warrant and if I could see it. He said no.
So because you're not related to this person, we don't have to
Okay,
show
well,
you
I'm
anything.
here to just observe. I'm within my right to
That's
do
cool.
so.
But all that noise, all that stuff like that, you're impeding our investigation.
I don't know what you just said. I don't speak Spanish.
I'm not speaking Spanish.
I just heard your Spanish accent. I don't know what you said. You're
Listen to
speaking
me.
entirely too fast. I don't really want to engage with you, honestly.
Just leave.
I'm just letting you know I'm here.
It's for you. This is for you to understand. Whistling, making all this noise, impeding our investigation.
How is blowing a whistle
Listen.
impeding?
Listen.
I'm done talking to you.
Listen.
You can get out of my
If
face.
you continue that, we're gonna arrest you. All right? So this is your first and last warning. Don't do it again. Don't impede. I will arrest you. Only saying it once.
Reminds you that you're in Minnesota.
Well, as you saw there, he calmly let her know, if you keep impeding this investigation, I will arrest you. And he's very patient with her. She's being belligerent, and he's telling her, hey, you're impeding our investigation. You need to stop. You can film, you can record. He's very polite, he's very calm. Now, do you think Gestapo would be very polite, very calm, try to de-escalate the situation? No. You saw there was a balcony there. They probably would have tossed her off that balcony if this was Gestapo, right? If this was a true fascist Nazi regime, you'd never see this woman again. Camera or no camera, right? So everything that they're spewing, all the rhetoric, is just fear-mongering. It's fear-mongering because Democrats are terrified that they are losing their voters. The illegal immigrants, by the way. That's who I'm referring to as their voters. But I wanted to point this out because you should share this video, if for anything, for this one simple fact, to show Democrats who still have hope to wake up out of this loony bin coma they're in. You show them this, and just, does this look like a fascist regime here? Do you think a fascist Nazi Gestapo would act like this? No. Any sane person will be like, well, no, he was actually pretty calm, pretty polite. So make sure you share this. But we got one more clip. Cuban Americans are pissed. One, that the left is chanting in the streets, free Maduro. But they're also pissed off for reasons like this, where radical leftists are painting murals of known horrific dictators to celebrate them here in America. But let's see what this Cuban American has to say.
Castro and Che Guevara, asshole. In my country, where I come from, Cuba, we can put in Lincoln, Washington, Trump, Biden, no one. That's why United States is the best country around the world, because we have a free speech. Even this dictator guy, you can put here in the United States.
Lack of respect for many people who never had to live under the regime of Fidel Castro. A wall here in the United States. Those two men are the dictators. Those two men. And we have so much freedom of speech in this country that you can put him on a fucking wall. This is disgusting for many Cuban people, for many Venezuelan people, for many people who have actually lived under a dictatorship. Una falta de respeto.
It's crazy, isn't it? But it's almost like I'm not surprised anymore because the leftists have completely lost the plot. The Democrats, they've dropped the ball. I don't even think they realize how far they've gone to the left, to the point where it's not even going to serve them in the long run. But there is good news. Americans are waking up every day. There's more and more people that are leaving the Democrat Party. But I made this video to show some of the hypocrisy that the left is spewing, some of the hate that they're spewing, and the possible future of America if some of these policies were to get passed federally. If a Democrat president took power again, I believe it would be the end of the United States as we know it. But I want to know your take, so leave a comment down below. God bless you. Christ is King. I love all of you, and I'll see you when I see you. Have a good one.